So in terms of filing a consumer proposal or a bankruptcy, if someone comes to us and we make the determination that that is probably the best option for them, one or the other process, I guess one of the things that people are interested in knowing is, well, what are some of the features and benefits of each of those processes? And I mean, I think we've touched on a few of them already, but if you maybe want to sort of highlight a bit more or recap some of that, Lana, if you wanted to comment on that, that would be great.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. I guess the features or advantages of a bankruptcy or proposal, I mean, where they are very similar, is that the I guess they're both going to give a debtor protection from creditors, which is they give you relief immediately, and the end goal is to get a release from the debt and a fresh start. So that's where they're the same. In terms of both processes, they're quite different, and both have their advantages and disadvantages. And it whether one is better for an individual or not is really very personal, and it depends on the circumstances. But I would say that they're both very powerful options that will allow a debtor, again, to get protection from the creditors and a fresh start. And that is the goal.
Great. Yeah, no, that's for sure. I mean, that's the intent of the legislation. It is intended to give people relief when they're facing overwhelming debt. And that overwhelming debt, as I think all of you can attest to, given your experience with some of the people we've met with, can come for all sorts of reasons. We've got marital breakdown, we've got illness, we've got death, we've got a number of things that happen in people's families, and all of those things play into their financial situation. And yes, to a certain extent, as a society, I suppose we perhaps live a little too close to the edge sometime with our credit. I mean, we're at a point now. I think the last statistic I heard was that we're at about 178% of our annual income in debt. Now that does include mortgage debt as well, but it's still pretty high. There's a significant portion of that's unsecured debt, and that means that we've got a lot of debt out there, and it doesn't take as much then to upset the proverbial apple cart if something happens in our lives that causes us to be unable to service that debt, whether it means an interruption in income, you can't pay your monthly amounts or whatever. Or I think, as a lot of us have seen, where people are just to the point where they're literally spinning their wheels in terms of paying their debts because the interest on the debt is accumulating at pretty much the same rate as their payments are taking it down. So in those cases too, for a lot of people, it's very disheartening and frustrating, and they need some kind of relief because it ends up a situation where they're just moving debt around. It's not really going down at all, and it's not really to anyone's advantage.